Yeah, let's get started. So yeah, Janine is here to help, basically to talk to you about, what she's been doing in the last 6 months and the effects that the 6-month coaching program, TIR, I'm just going to mute everyone 1 sec, has had, and the experience that she's had working with me and another group of people. So thank you all for joining. We can just have, I've got some, we're not going to be too formal or structured. I've just got a couple of questions, and Janine's going to share, and you can ask her any questions. And Janine, you're a bit of an expert in the material yourself now anyway. So, and anything we want to talk about as it relates to, the morning routines we've been focusing on in the boot camp, the evening routines, then we can probably get to that. So, we've got as long as we need, but we'll probably have no more than an hour, try and keep everybody's night to themselves. So thanks a million. Let me unmute you, Janine, so you can probably unmute yourself, actually. There you are. Yeah. Yeah. So Janine, I know your life at the minute is pretty busy and you've got a few things going on. So I really appreciate you coming on to talk to us and just share a bit about your experience. So I was going to ask you just to introduce yourself and maybe tell us about your life before you started. It's TIR. So the acronym is TIR, Thinking into Results. So that's what you'll hear us refer to.
Yeah, no worries, Lorna. So I'll give you a quick potted history. So I've had quite a varied career in terms of things I've done and kind of how I started career. So I'm a trained chef. I was a chef for around about 12, 13 years. And then I changed career. For people that know me, Jackie will know this well. For people that know me, know that I like to talk a lot. So I moved into the contact centre environment and started work for an insurance company. So quite a change in career. And went through a number of roles as part of the RSA insurance company that I worked for. So those roles kind of spanned a number of different areas, from leadership to capacity planning and forecasting. So I did quite a different kind of group of roles that were all kind of at the same level. I had promotions, and I went on varying different courses, whether they be leadership courses, people development courses. And at the time you go on these courses, they help you in the role you're in at the time. And sometimes it's often you get different people that come into the roles and different training comes into the role that people bring along with them. So I'd done quite a lot of different training courses. Kind of fast forward a little bit, those roles I'd done, I'd got masses of experience, loved my time at that company, but knew I didn't feel fulfilled. So 5 years ago, I left and I started contracting. And I've worked for a number of different companies. I've had some amazing contracts and I've learned so much along the way in terms of what I've done. I've gone out, silly little things like, I knew I couldn't work in London, for example. These were all paradigms. Couldn't work in London because I couldn't navigate a tube system. That was just me. That was a complete paradigm with me. So I got an opportunity to take on a contract that I really wanted to get into. And it was in London. So I went and worked in London for 13 months. I'm pleased to say that paradigm's been overcome. And as I told Lorna a little while ago, I can navigate the tubes in London now, like the back of my hand. So that's been a massive goal achieved for me. But again, I knew I didn't feel fulfilled in what I was doing, even though I'd done some amazing roles, some amazing contracts, being paid really well for them. There was just something I wasn't fulfilled in. So I'm a big believer that things happen for a reason. And Laura knows this because I've told her before, but around 7 years ago, when I worked at RSA, we'd gone through numerous kind of restructures. So around every 18 months to 2 years, we've gone through these restructures. And at the last one, I kind of knew I wanted to move on. I knew at this point I wanted to leave and I applied for redundancy. I didn't get redundancy at the time. But Lorna and Jackie were both part of the I want to say development exercise, but wasn't. It was almost the restructuring exercise of reapplying for roles. And Lorna was part of a number of sessions that I went into. So they were, for people that know the types of sessions I'm talking about, There'd be like a role play, there'd be an interview, and Lorna was part of some of those sessions that I was involved in.
Kind of like assessment centre, wasn't it?
Like assessment centre. I couldn't think of the name of the word, Lorna, thank you. So at the time, I remember being in this environment with Lorna and always feeling like I would do something with Lorna in the future. Now, don't ask me why I thought that, and I don't know even to today what, you know, why I thought that at the time, but I always knew there was a connection with something that we'd do in the future. Anyway, a little bit of time went on. I got a different role, and fast forward 12 months, I left RSA and started contracting. I think Lorna had left, Jackie had left, so there was lots of change going on. And then I've come across Lorna on Instagram, and we reconnected on Instagram. How's it going? What you doing? What you up to? You're still in the corporate world? And Lorna kind of gave me some background on the fact that she left and she was now running her own business, doing TIR. And I just got a shiver. Actually, straight away I knew this was the connection from 7 years ago. I knew this was the reason why we'd reconnected. So Laura and I had a call. We talked a lot about kind of what TIR covers, and I knew everything that I'd started to feel about my next steps and where I wanted to go needed this type of support. So I knew there was that definite reason why I wanted to join TIR. I was unclear on my goals for the next 5 to 10 years. I still lacked confidence. I procrastinated a lot. And just still felt that unfulfilled feeling of, what am I doing? I felt like I was drifting a bit still. But I always knew that I wanted to help people. I knew that was what I always knew. And I always knew potentially that I'd go back and do something with food at some point in time, but I just didn't know how they were connected or what I would do. So fast forward to March this year, or I think maybe Feb, and I joined TIR. And I can honestly say it's been an absolute game changer for me. It's been like nothing I've ever experienced before. So all the corporate kind of training programs I've been on were great at the time, but they were not TIR. They were absolutely not TIR. And joining TIR and getting into this, I was kind of thinking, what's it going to do? How is it going to change for me? How are these 12 lessons really going to help me reach my goals? And the big standout for me is I've never probably been driven to the goals I've always wanted, because I've always focused on how I'm going to do them. And because I've lacked confidence, I just thought, I don't know how to do it. I don't know where to start. So the fact I don't know how to do it, I'm just going to park it and stop it. So there's so many things I've wanted to do over the years that I've just not done because of these reasons. And some of that relates to confidence issues as well. Lorna's really coached me to understand that you don't need to know how. You need to know what you need to do or what you want to do, and you focus on the what. Once you've focused on the what and gained real clarity around what you want to do, then the how comes with it. So for me, in terms of defining my goals, I've almost landed at a place throughout this last 6 to 7 months where I probably never thought I'd get to, or at a place I maybe never dreamed I'd be doing. But I almost feel like the goals are real clear to me now. And what's happening as these goals have become clearer is things have just become in front of me. So I'm making connections with people. People are coming to me with things. It almost feels like, I mean, I often drop Lorna voice messages or group messages, and I'm kind of going, what is going on? These things are happening. What is going on? And even personally for me, I'll whisper it, nearly 50 next year. So you're almost kind of question, I'm too old for doing some of these things. You know, again, another paradigm, I'm too old. And I joined the gym a couple of years ago to really keep healthy. I had a couple of health issues, keep healthy, keep focused. And then I'd gone through a couple of rough patches over the last 18 months to 2 years. And I knew the gym really cleared my mind, support, you know, really helped with anxiety and stuff. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this bit as well. And as part of the gym, I was asked to join a running club. And again said, seriously, I'm nearly 50, I can't run. Even though I used to run for a local running club many years ago. So I just kind of kept pushing it off and pushing it off. And then I started just doing little bits of jogging around the block and stuff like that. But at the same time, as I then joined TIR, I thought a lot about what am I teaching my daughter, because I tell her to do stuff, but I don't show her. And actually, a lot of what I'm telling her to do, I'm doing the opposite of. So I decided it was time to show her that actually trying to achieve your goals, once you're clear and once you get into the right place, anything's achievable, absolutely anything. So I started running a bit more, and with the coaching and support Lorna was given, a lot of it kind of manifested in me professionally and personally. So I took up a challenge that I would support a local charity with a group of us that are part of our local gym, and we would run the length of Route 66, which is 2,400 miles, throughout the month of May, and we'd all contribute. It's about 35 of us, and we'd obviously, with COVID, we'd all do it individually, and then for the last 40 miles, we'd all get on the road and run, socially distanced, but we'd all run so we could collectively get kind of some filming and some photos. And I ran 74 miles in the month of May. So for me, in October, thinking, I can't run, I'm far too old, I'm never going to even be able to run a mile. With TIR, focusing on what you can do rather than how you're going to do it, and picking up as incremental goals. I firmly believe, with the support of the club and with TIR, I ran 74 miles, not thinking I could ever do that. So that's something, was a personal achievement for me, that, you know, just one example where TIR adds massive value personally. Professionally, I'd been writing CVs, I've been doing business plans for people as well over the last couple of years. So I did a lot of that stuff alongside the contracting work that I did. And I was talking to Laura about, you know, wanting to help people more in terms of their career and supporting more CVs. And again, I wasn't really doing anything with it. I was just waiting for people to come to me and ask me for those things. And you know, ask me to write a CV without kind of putting that out a little bit more. So again, I just started to kind of make more connections with people, make people aware that I do CV writing, I do business planning. And throughout the COVID period, I then all of a sudden got loads of people asking me to write a CV for them, a number of people asking me to write business plans. And some of this stuff I did for free, because I felt throughout the period of COVID, lots of people were struggling. And actually, I'd had a lot of support over the time. I was lucky enough to still be in a role, contracting, and also doing other stuff as part of the business. So I wanted to help people kind of achieve their goals, and supported that in a way that I felt was right for me to do that for some people. So again, that's still coming on in terms of, you know, the business planning and the CV writing. The real thing, sorry, go on, Lorna.
Oh, no, I'll let you finish, sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to add, kind of before I open up for some questions, is the real kind of focus for me, though, was I really enjoyed doing the CV writing and the business planning for people. But there was still this connection to helping people in a slightly different way and connecting it with food again. So bringing the kind of my old career back into this. So I started to reach out to different people regarding mindset coaching, and tagging that to all the stuff I'd learned through TIR with mindset as well. But equally thinking about the amount of people, whether it be kids, whether it be adults, who are struggling to release weight. And actually, one of my friends was a prime example. She'd gone to Slimming World for 20 years and her goal was to release weight, but she weighs more than that now than she did 20 years ago. So I thought, here's a real great opportunity for me to support her and start to realise kind of these goals a little bit more. I joined a 6-week program at the gym and learned lots more about nutrition. So that's where I feel I'm now heading. So I'm now picking up, and I've already started inquiring about a qualification in nutrition. I've been coaching my friend for the last 4 weeks. She no longer is at Slimming World. And over the last 4 weeks, she's lost 10.5 pounds. And this is all through mindset. This is all through taking a different approach to nutrition. But I want to get into schools and start to help children. So I think that's where I really see my ultimate goals, and the next 5 to 10 years taking me. That I want to help children, whether that be through mindset, coming away from thinking about numbers and being targeted on numbers, but focused on mindset, and also focused on the opportunity where to help kids and children across the community to eat more healthily. So that's probably a bit of a potted history, and it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but that's where I've got to, and I can't tell you how much more I feel fulfilled in terms of the fact I really know where my focus needs to be, and I'm connecting with the right people. I'm being coached and supported and guided by Lorna, but also the wider TIR family, in terms of how they support and challenge. We challenge each other on our goals, but help each other realise that there's different ways to do things. There's not always one way. So yeah, this is me now. This is kind of where I need to get to, more confident, supporting people where I feel I can add real value and feeling fulfilled from that, more productive, no procrastination, and getting into a real routine of where I want to take my business.
Oh, Janine, I mean, I've loved that. You've answered nearly everything I wanted to ask you, actually. So I think that's a really good summary. There's little bits listening to you that I know the people who didn't know you before wouldn't know this. And I think you sitting there now, you look like really confident, really focused. You clearly have gone in different directions, following like the ideas, like I'm going to write CVs for people, I'm going to contact people about nutrition, I'm going to join this group. Can you just describe what you said to me when we first got into this around your confidence?
So I had no confidence at all. So confidence had been a real issue for me for many, many years. So I didn't believe in myself. I questioned everything. Even when people gave me feedback, I would question that feedback was about me. Even if people gave me developmental feedback and also feedback of what I did great, I'd focused on the development feedback. Even if there was a whole page of stuff that I did really well, I focused in on anything that was potentially negative. So I lacked a lot of confidence in anything I did, in my personal life, in my professional life, and 100% feel that held me back in my career, in many things that I did, whether that be with people or equally in roles that I've done over the years. I almost feel like I don't believe that person that I was back then to what I am now, because confidence for me, for everything I've done this year, I don't question anymore, because I fully believe in what I'm capable of. I fully believe what I can do, and if there's things that I feel I can't do, I've got connections. I've made so many connections now, that I either go to the TIR family or I go to the connections that I've made. I listen to loads of podcasts, and I make connections with those people on the podcast. If something resonates with me, I go and send them a message. I would never have dreamed of doing that before. I go and send them a message, and I've made connections and built relationships with a lot of these people that I listen to right now. So there's so much to be said about where confidence holds you back, and actually having confidence where it can take you. So 100%, I've gone from almost 0 to 100 within the space of about 6 to 7 months.
That's why I asked the question, because obviously I see you sitting there now, and people who didn't know you before would be like, well, you look like you've always had this nailed. And you did. You were successful, right? You were really successful all your life. There's no question about that. But you almost didn't believe your success.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree, Lorna.
Janine, I know you're talking, so you're concentrating. Deanne's just asking, she's enjoying your story. What strategies have you used to help with procrastination?
I think for me, Deanne, it's been a lot around being really clear. So again, with TIR, as we've gone through the first couple of lessons, I was still kind of focused on what is it I still want. And again, I was still focused on this what and how. I think gaining real clarity on my goals has completely stopped the procrastination, because I used to totally focus on what am I going to do, how am I going to do it, when am I going to do it, I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm not confident. That was the complete cycle constantly for years and years throughout my life. So the fact I'm really clear and I'm productive. So I use something called a 6-minute diary. So it plays into a lot of what Lorna coaches is on. And that's kind of a structured approach to journaling and affirmations and gratitude. But it got me into a real rhythm of doing it, having the structure. But we're doing a lot more around journaling now. And what that's done is help me almost manifest the goal. So I'm totally focused on kind of productivity each day around the goal, and knowing what I'm going to do each day or every couple of days or each week that relates to that goal, as opposed to just sat thinking about it and thinking I'm never going to do it, so why bother thinking anymore, put it to bed, and then I'd carry on procrastinating constantly. So the goal setting, the clarity around the goal, and being productive around what you're going to focus on to get you to keep connected to that goal on a frequent basis, it is probably what I would kind of wrap that up in a nutshell with.
Yeah. It's a 6-minute diary, isn't it? Lizzie's asking the name of the diary.
On Amazon. This is the downside of working from home, because I'm constantly told off on a daily basis that there's another Amazon parcel that's arrived.
So I think any questions or comments for Janine so far before I ask more questions?
Can I just say, firstly, Janine, that was really inspirational, and congratulations.
Thank you, Marie.
I really liked what you said about how you wanted to inspire, was it your daughter, did you say?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something you could consider when you look at helping children with weight, because children don't do what you say, they do what you do. 100%. And potentially the parents could be someone you could really help. But the particular thing I can relate to is what you said about doing a lot of free work for people because you want to help them and help them do their CVs during this time. And that's something that actually you're really skilled at and can monetize. Because right now I feel like I'm doing something very similar, and people keep saying to me, you should be charging for this, you should be charging for this. And only in the last day or so, I've really thought, do you know what, actually, maybe I should, and maybe I could, because right now I could seriously do with some cash. But how can you go from doing something for free to start charging? Like, how did you come to that?
Yeah. So to be fair, Marie, I've always charged. For the last couple of years, I've always charged. I've not done loads of CVs over the last couple of years. I would do them. I didn't really advertise it. If people asked me to do one, I would do one. I just felt that I'd had a lot of support this year. So when a couple of people did come to me who were really struggling, who had been made redundant or who were out of work, I just felt like I wanted to give something back at that time. So for the people that came to me, either they were, had mental health issues because of this situation with redundancy, were really struggling to connect with people, were short of cash, and I kind of knew some of this without them telling me. I wanted to offer that time. So I guess I've always kind of charged, but when people have come, definitely throughout the COVID period, I've felt the fact I've wanted to help. And I've offered that option just for free, and just said, let me do this for you. If it really helps you get a role. And I know a couple of people have connected back with me to say they've got jobs, which is great for me, because I feel like that's when you help people in that way, that for me is a payback. But equally, and really interesting for me, is the gratitude side of things. So not only did I want to do some of that for free, a lot of people had helped me and not charged me. So even throughout, lockdown, the guy at our gym is a sole business. He, for 3 months, put on Zoom sessions for free to keep us all mentally and physically active. So again, when I knew he was struggling with some of his business planning, I offered to help him with his business plan, and because for me, offered me something, and I always feel you don't give to receive. But actually, he'd given me so much without realising he'd done that. And I wanted to just give that back. And I find with that, lots of that is happening. There's lots of stuff coming my way. I've had loads of people now contact me to write CVs as a paid CV. And I just think almost that what goes around comes around, and it just comes back. And I'm a firm believer in that, 100%.
Same here.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from when you're at a standing start and have not charged. But I think you're right. You know, a lot of people are out of work or on reduced work at the moment, and I think it's really important that you kind of set your strategy out and set your stall out that. This is part of, you know, what you do as a business now as well. And this is kind of your pricing structure and stuff like that.
I'm a massive believer in the concept of givers gain, which is
100%.
BNI, if anyone's a member. But and infinite giving. What you give, you get back.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
If I may, Marie, I mean, I can help you with this separately, but I would just add to that, just own it. Just own that decision that, you know, you supported people, you give, you know deep down that you give more than you expect in return, but equally you are now going to own it, and you're going to own the fact that you do this professionally, whatever it is.
Thank you.
See, I'll make it sound easy.
And Lauren, I'm conscious there's a couple of questions, so I'm just gonna photograph them, and then I'll reply back if we don't get time on this call. So nice. At least we can keep the answers and the questions going if need be.
Thanks, Janine. That's awesome. I can save the chat as well if it's recorded, so we can definitely put them in the group. Brilliant. So you've got this one from Nat. Can you see it there, Janine? Did you feel your mental health change, tension release, different to when you were in the corporate world? From Nat.
100% Nat, and I think because I knew I wanted to do something for me and run my own business, there was always that kind of pressure of knowing you wanted to do something different and not feeling fulfilled. And I think with corporate life, I think tension and stress often just comes with that. But I equally then went into the contracting world, working for myself in corporate businesses. And in some of the contracts I've undertaken have felt similar. I've had a really challenging contract this year, probably the most challenging to date. And although there's been stressful times, I'm really clear on my future goal. So that for me is, as I've felt that because I'm really focused and clear, that the stress of this job is going to go at the end of the contract, or will go partway through the contract. But equally in this role, I don't feel I lack confidence in what I'm doing. Where previously I may have lacked confidence to say, you know, to provide feedback, or to be more challenging in the program, to let them know where things are kind of going wrong, regardless of what level people are operating at. So the confidence has really helped with that, and really helped to challenge into the program. But equally, because I'm really clear on the goal, the stress kind of doesn't feel like it's stress anymore. If that answers that one now.
Yeah, thank you so much. That sounds like you've got a different life now. But I hear the point that you're saying, that sometimes it doesn't go away. Like, even if you might come out of that corporate world and then do corporate work, so still in that industry. However, it sounds like you've changed and your attitude has changed towards it. Okay, that's great.
100%. Yeah.
Thank you.
You two are both in change and project world, so Nat does a similar thing to you, Janine. So you understand each other's pressures very well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lorna.
Another question from Kathy, Lorna, around what was strategy for setting your goal, and did you use the SMART model or something else? So TIR is completely different, Kathy. So and it's really interesting, because I think from a corporate environment, you're very focused on SMART goal setting and using specific models. It's really interesting in TIR, because the way in which the 12 lessons are taught, you almost feel like there's not a specific model, but TIR overall is the model. And it's quite hard to explain, so I'm sure Lorna will keep me straight on this. As I've gone through the lessons and they're designed in a way that they get you structured to understand what you need to do to get you to identify the goal and drive yourself towards it. So for quite a little while, I was thinking, maybe I'm not doing this right because I'm not clear on what the goal is. I'm not really sure. But actually, on reflection, those lessons were taking me on a journey to actually identifying it. So it's been a really interesting journey in terms of how I've got to the goal. And I firmly believe it's the 12 lessons and the stuff I've done around confidence and around gratitude and around being focused and connecting to the goal constantly has brought things to me, as well as me being proactive in getting me to those goals as well, if that makes sense.
It does, Janine, just because you haven't been on some of the calls, we have had some Q&As where we've had a good chat about how things are just attracted to you.
Yep.
Things turn up, things show up, and people on the call have had experiences like that. So I think it will resonate what you're saying. And, you know, that's why I kind of laughed and smiled, because I observed, like, it is that process where I was the same. I was like, this is what I want. I'm a vice president. I'm XGBT. This is my life. This is what I want. And it took me a bit of time to peel away the layers, because depends how big the layers are. The voice doesn't even get to speak. And I think you used to say to me early on, every time I try and think about what I want, the voice is going, but you can't. And so I don't go there. But then eventually the voice was dealt with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of that was, I kind of was becoming clear on what I wanted, but I was still going to the how. Oh, I don't know how, so I can't do it. And that was kind of pulling me back constantly. But the amount of things that have come to me when I've got really clear and kept connecting to the goal through journaling and gratitude and really focusing on what that goal is. There's loads of stuff that's happened. You know, I've got more people coming to me and asking about how I can help them with you know, going on a weight loss journey, and there's just loads of stuff like that. And I feel like because I've got the opportunity to coach my friend, I probably wouldn't have asked my friend, actually, knowing the type of person she is. She likes to do stuff herself. I probably wouldn't have asked her, because I thought she's probably just going to say no, I don't need to be coached. But again, I was proactive and said, let's take the opportunity, let me coach you and let's see where we get to. Let me help you from a mindset perspective, and let me help you on a journey to kind of release this weight. And she's like a completely different person, completely different. And I've shared some of the models from TIR with her, and the feedback from her is that has been a game changer, because I've never been able to change my mindset before, which is the reason I've always gone to Slim as Well for the last 20 years, and I've always got the same result, and that result is I always fail. And that was her words. And actually she's got a completely different result, and she doesn't see that changing, because we're constantly, we do some accountability. We've got an accountability WhatsApp, which I think again is great. You know, I don't know whether Lisa's still on the call, Lorna, but Lisa from our TIR group, Lisa and I are accountability buddies. And again, that just keeps you driven and keeps you accountable to the goal, to keep making sure you're connecting with that goal on a constant basis.
Yeah, Lisa, our other Lisa, Adam Thwaite, is saying really interesting around the goal, because it's reassuring to know it can become clearer, because you're not, you know, most people don't go, I immediately know exactly what I want. It's rare. It takes a little bit of, because we kind of shoot too low, don't we? We shoot too low. So the minute you join TIR, I'm like, you're not shooting that low. You need to open that up. And then people go, then you kind of get clearer and clearer and say, yeah, actually coming in, I was playing it safe, because you don't know it's that voice that's making you play it safe that we deal with.
Yeah, and I think just on the goal bit as well, Lauren, I know we've chatted about this. So although I'm really clear on those goals, there's other goals for me that are supporting this, which are I'm aiming to work 3 days a week. I'm aiming to make sure that I'm meeting up with people and having a coffee every Friday, because I don't work on a Friday. So I'm talking as if I'm doing that now. So again, when I'm journaling and writing my goals, I write them as if I've got them now. I want to be spending more time abroad. Again, I'm writing about what that looks like. I used to always say, well, I'm not going to go abroad, am I? Because I can't afford that. So it was that constant, you know, negative language that I used that stopped me. So it's those goals that I probably never considered before, but they're goals that form part of my wider strategy for the goals that I'm aiming for as well.
Yeah.
So Lisa's just asking, do I write something different every day, or is it the same mantra style goal? Sometimes it depends, Lisa. So sometimes, and Lorna's done a lot with us over the last week or two on journaling. So again, I was a bit unclear of when I'm journaling, what am I writing about? Because I seem to be writing about the same thing. And am I really connecting to that goal? Am I writing enough? And am I writing the right things? And I think, again, the feedback and coaching from Lorna is sometimes there's not always a wrong thing with journaling. Sometimes I just write about how great my day's been and how much more confident I am. And other days I write about what my goal looks like now I've got it. What do I feel like? What do I look like? How many days a week am I working? What am I doing? Am I going to the gym more? How many months am I spending abroad? So I tend to write kind of some things differently. If I feel sometimes I'm becoming a bit disconnected, not purposely disconnected, but sometimes if I get really busy in work and I'm not feeling like I'm fully connecting daily to the goal, I might journal on a daily basis, a very similar thing to keep me connected. But I very much focus on as if that's happening now.
One thing, thanks, Janine. One thing I think it's come through in your conversation. One thing that doesn't always come through when we talk about like the tangible results is, how quick can you describe how you've been, like how you've felt, from a well-being? I think Nat kind of asked some of the question about that busyness and anxiety, but overall, what impacts it had.
So for me, I was probably quite manic in terms of I'd worry about things. I'd be quite manic at getting things done. Everything had to be done today. I'd worry about what people thought if I didn't deliver stuff on time. And actually what I've realised is it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And for me, that's about me and my personal life as well as professional life. So what I find is I very much take a step back and a lot of the time I focus on, actually, what am I doing now? Is that taking me to my goal? And if it's not, I'm not doing it, I'm stopping it. So everything around being manic, I've always been someone that spoke really quickly. So people can sometimes interpret that I've got quite a manic way of speaking. But for me personally, I don't worry about things. I don't get manic about things. I'm constantly focused on the goal. So if things are not serving me, why am I worrying about it? What are going to serve me to keep me connected and focused on this goal, whether that be personally or professionally, and how can I stop and reduce kind of any stress? And a lot of it is around planning, planning and keeping focused on definitely on the mindset part of TIR. There's a lot to be said about all the mindset strategies that TIR teaches you. Kind of from the conscious and subconscious mind, and focused on actually how much you manifest from your subconscious. That is just habits that you've formed over the years, and a lot of those habits have just been totally unproductive habits that I've formed on quite a vast basis, really. So what I always do as well is when I feel like I'm getting into an unproductive habit, I switch it to how can I get that to be productive. Or stop the habit altogether.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad you kind of went to that place, Janine, because I was going to say, like, I wonder if you guys on the call are saying, these outcomes are really nice. Like, I want to know how. And it's not always easy to describe, like what exactly you do to change, because it's a process, isn't it? And it's a journey. But yeah, that was a good example of the habits, and that's something we've been doing in the 6 weeks, isn't it? We set up this boot camp so the powerful habits that we can put in place every day, we can keep forevermore. That's the foundation, those morning habits and those evening habits.
Yeah. And, for me, definitely, I used to be one of these people that would think, oh, I need this much sleep. I've got to, I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. Why would I want to do that? And actually that was just a paradigm of me thinking, if I go to bed at 11, I'm not getting up till 7 because I need 8 hours sleep. And I'm not saying go to bed and have a couple of hours sleep. I think it's really important that people get the right amount of sleep. but at the same time, you know, win your morning, win your day. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm up out the bed. That's a strategy that one of the guys on the program at the moment, Jim, has taught us. And he just said, Janine, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get to one, get out of bed. And it's really funny how on one, your feet are on the floor and you're out of the bed. And again, doing the kind of the goal setting, the gratitude, all of that stuff early morning, being prepared, planned for the day, focusing on productive habits, and you're done. I'm done, set up by the day at 7 a.m. And I purposely, I recently did a fitness program, I personally chose a 6 a.m. class a couple of times a week, because I knew that would get me up and out, and then I'd be again, you know, winning the morning, winning the day again. I'm being focused on, I'm now bringing something else in, so I don't want to be you know, adding loads of stuff into the day and the week, but I know I want to focus again on nutrition and fitness and doing something for me as well as doing something for clients that I've got as well.
There's a question there from Kathy, Janine. I don't know if you can see it. Do you ever fall off track? And from where you want to be, and how do you get back on quickly? And do you ever get bored of your journey and need a switch or a release?
You know what, it's a really good question, Kathy, and it's really interesting. And I know we've spoke about this more recently in our group. We've talked a lot about frequency, and Lauren, I don't know whether you've spoke about this in the 6-week bootcamp, but frequency and vibration. And when I first started TIR, I was thinking, okay, what have I got myself into? What is all this vibration and frequency? But I was really keen to understand what that was all about. And I learned quite quickly through the law of vibration that actually being around high vibration thinkers just raises your frequency by default. And what I've found is, as I've become more connected with people, whether it be at the gym, in the TIR group, other people I'm connecting with through podcasts, these are all high vibration thinkers. And again, I feel that as your frequency rises, you attract that, 100% attract it. And I found it a little bit bizarre at the start, thinking, what is this about? But as you understand and learn it, again, that becomes a game changer. So Kathy, don't get me wrong, I'm not ever saying I fall off track. I fell off track before, and I'd be 12 months before I got back on track. What I do now is I might fall off track because I'm really busy doing something else, and I'm thinking I'm not connected to the goal, I've not given me any time today. But I very, very quickly get back on and reconnect with the goal, because I know that's what I want to do ultimately. So there's never this lag of 6-12 months of, I need to get back, and I'll get back someday. There's an immediate reconnection with where I want to be and where I want to go.
Like days at most, would you say? Or
a day, absolute hours a day at most. Yeah, no more than that. And I think because you're around these people and people you're connecting with, and people that you're then being drawn to, and these new people that I'm connecting with, because you're around that all the time, and that's increasing my confidence, that's making me feel so excited about the future. And people are supporting and challenging you on your goals, and want you to get involved with them. So even at the gym, I know that the trainer I've got, he's supporting, again, free of charge, a couple of children that are from vulnerable backgrounds. I've already been planting seeds there that I want to try and help those kids. Let me see if I can help those kids, because they'll help me understand how I need to build my strategy for when I want to start going into schools and I'm trying to help other children. So again, I firmly believe I started that gym for a reason. I didn't know why at the time, but it's all becoming clearer now. And when you're around those people and they're constantly messaging you, and we have different groups going to motivate and support each other with goals for different, varying different reasons. I never get bored of it. I never get bored, because I'm really clear.
Yeah. I love that, Janine. I love what you said about high vibration, high energy thinkers. I think what I've experienced as well through this bootcamp is, and you might be sensing it, I know you haven't been on any of the calls, Janine, but This is a high vibration group. It really is. And it may be because, I don't know, it's come together perfectly. It's partly the work we're doing, but you feel it. And I've said this before, and it's not just words, that you guys, the people who are here showing up throughout these 6 weeks, you know, you are naturally, obviously trying to, you know, add value, improve, you know, be positive, be focused, be productive, be proactive. And you can see the power in being around each other. And that, well, how do you think I feel? I love these sessions for that reason. But Janine, that's what you're saying, you know, in the past, when your thinking is a place, we've talked about this in some of our sessions. It's natural for the human mind and the human being to focus on the negative because it's an instinct. It goes back to running from tigers. Yeah. And the brain is trained and well accustomed to just doing that. And we laugh about the school run and people just will love to complain, but it's just part of it's cultural, part of it's just don't know what else to say. Yeah. But when you do that, and we're all in the habit of doing that, you're all on this low vibration frequency. You are thinking with low vibration thoughts. You are sending out negativity. And when you start to think and set yourself up every single day differently, the people who show up in your life are the ones that are going to that you want in your life. They're the ones who are going to be supporting you with your goal. You'll be supporting them, and vice versa. And you will notice that those lower vibration people, and you will start to kind of turn away slightly. And it happens automatically. It's not even a conscious thing half the time, is it?
No. And interesting one, I know I mentioned this to you a little while ago. So I work with someone at the moment who's absolutely mad as a box of frogs, and sometimes drives me mad at times. But what I started to do was, rather than moan about, oh God, here she goes again, and she's doing this, and what is she not doing? I started to observe her, and I started to observe, actually, what is the reason why she does these things? So stop the moaning. What is the reason she's doing it, and can I help her? And actually what I realised and what I observed was that she's someone that has low self-esteem. So what I did was completely change tact on how I approached her. And I've done that with a lot of people. And I, again, completely change the way I will speak about things. So I used to probably use a lot of negative words, completely switching the negative language to positive language. And I do that with her now, because I know that there's a lot of things deep rooted with her that are the reason she displays the behavior she does now. So I change tact, change approach, and I kind of work with her in a completely different way, knowing that she's got low self-esteem, knowing that she has to have her ego massaged a bit on every call. But I know how to kind of support that now, which has completely changed how I look at her, how I manage the situations, and I just don't bother even thinking about it anymore. I don't get stressed about it. And I think that's the key bit for me as well, is observing others as well as kind of disconnecting from others.
Yeah, you start to notice it more, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask one last question because we've got about 8 minutes left. But you guys fire away. It's not my show, but I don't want to keep you over. And I just wanted to ask Janine, I know you've got a number of goals, and you've shared them, and there's other things you've done that you've not shared in this year. I could write a list, it would blow your mind. There's to do with producing PPE during COVID. I forgot that little project that you jumped into.
Yeah.
The question I want to ask you is, how certain are you that your goals are going to be realised?
100%, absolutely 100%, because I believe in them. 100% believe in me. I believe in the goals. I talk about them all the time, and I keep connected to them. Anyone that listens, I tell them what I'm going to do. I tell them what it's going to look like, and I visualize what that life will be as if it's now happening. So 100% confidence that I'm on the track now to achieve what I feel like I was put here to do. And then that probably sounds a bit kind of out there, but I've always known I've wanted to help people. I've always felt that all of my life. I've just never known what or how. I absolutely know what now. Yeah.
It's amazing listening to you. I mean, obviously we've worked together for a while, so it's just lovely listening to you. And explain what's going on, and obviously I'm seeing the results just show up, and you're taking action and things are coming towards you. It's two ways, isn't it? You're taking steps forward and you're attracting what you need to attract exactly as and when you need it. And that's the faith.
Yeah, 100%.
There's some chat, so go on, Janine.
I was just going to say, Lorna, for me, I could champion TIR to the world for what it's done for me. But I just wanted to add, if there's anyone considering or thinking about joining this program, just stop thinking and just get on it, because I've never done anything like this ever. I don't think I'll ever do anything like it again. But what it's given me, I could never pay back. I could never pay Lorna back for the coaching she's given me, what it's done for me throughout this year. So anyone thinking about it, just stop thinking and get on it. Honestly, I couldn't tell you enough what it'll do to change your life.
You sound like me. I must email Mark, the person who coached me, once a month and say thank you. just letting you know, thank you, still grateful. But obviously it's not me, it's not my material, as we know. It's a program that is just an amazing system. But appreciate everything you've said completely, Janine.
Yeah. And as I've told you, Lorna, on our voice messages, our blog's next. I'm aiming for a book. They're the next goals around nutrition and wellness and stuff like that. So yeah, they're also in the plans as well.
Watch this space. We'll be all on the list to buy it. Actually, we've missed a question. Sorry, we're just wrapping up. Lisa, did you go on this course skeptical, or did you always truly believe you would be successful? I think, or your goals would be realised.
So I think
started.
Yeah, because I think because I kind of connected with Lorna straight away. I knew there was a reason why. I knew there was a reason 7 years ago why we would connect again. And then when we did, I knew there was a reason and a purpose to that connection. When I spoke to Lorna, I kind of knew I was ready for self-development. I knew I was going to invest time in me. That was the next step. And I was just looking around for the right thing. Lorna showed up. And once Lorna explained to me, I knew at that point, based on what Lorna was telling me about the program, that this was the absolute program for me. So when I joined and I was thinking about this vibration and the frequency, I was thinking about, okay, where's this going to take me? How is this going to help me and support me? I don't believe I was ever skeptical. I always felt that this was going to be the game changer for me, and it just showed up at the right time.
Yeah, we said timing, isn't it? We have talked about this through the boot camp. Some guys on the boot camp, believe in the intuition and the nudges and the impulses, and trying to trust that. And we've talked about tuning into that as well, haven't we?
Yeah,
all about timing, Lisa. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Janine. Janine is now, so if you do have questions, she can help you out.
Yeah, no, just drop me a message, honestly. Again, I can't, rave about TIR enough. So if any questions, anything anyone wants to ask or discuss, please just give me a shout. Awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for coming on for an hour tonight. Hopefully that was worth your time, just to listen to Janine's story. Julianne's on. You can see Julianne's little picture there, gorgeous picture. Julianne and I are doing the same thing tomorrow at 9:30. So, be there if you can. I'd love to have another chat with you in the morning. If you have got other commitments, then we will record it and post it. But Julianne's there. You can see a picture at the bottom, and we're going to do a similar session in the morning. So for those of you who can, I'll see you then, and for everybody else, I'll see you Thursday on the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Janine and Lorna.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow morning. Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.